This video is all about the freedom fighters of India and what they did to help us gain freedom.
Bhagat Singh was an Indian socialist and a revolutionary freedom fighter. He was an expert who transcended in both writings as well as reading languages such as Gurumukhi, Urdu, Hindi, Punjabi, and English at a very young age. He was inclined towards the Marxist ideologies and the anarchist ideas that led to revolutionary contributions towards the movement. He was a part of Hindustan Republican Association and later on renamed the association as the Hindustan Socialist Republican Association. He was a part of multiple revolutionary organizations and set the most excellent example of patriotism. Bhagat Singh, along with the comrade Batukeshwar Dutt, distributed brochures that cruelly scrutinized the British policies in the Central Assembly. Bhagat Singh joined hands with Jatin Das on a hunger strike to demand better living conditions for the prisoners in the Indian jails. He was executed at the age of 23 for murdering British police officer John Saunders. He was the ideal inspiration for the youth of present India, and his ideologies and thoughts still linger among us. Thank you.
Chandrasekhar Azad, also known as Azad, was an Indian revolutionary who reorganized the Hindustan Republican Association under its new name of Hindustan Socialist Republican Army. Azad was born on 23rd July 1906 in Bhabra village and died on 27 February 1931 in Allahabad. He killed himself when he was surrounded by the British police in presently known Azad Park. One of his famous dialogue is, दुश्मन की गोलियों का हम सामना करेंगे, आज़ाद ही रहे हैं, आज़ाद ही रहेंगे, which means, if yet your blood does not rage, then it is water that flows in your veins. For what is the flush of youth if it is not of service to the motherland? Chandrasekhar Azad was a brilliant personality, and I would like to pay salute to the sacrifice he has made for our nation's independence. At last, I would wish everyone a happy Independence Day. Jai Hind.
Subhash Chandra Bose was born on January 23, 1897 in Odisha, India. He was an Indian revolutionary who was prominent in the independence movement against British rule of India. He also led an Indian national force from abroad against the Western powers during World War II. He was a contemporary of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, at times an ally and at other times an adversary. Subhash Chandra Bose, known also as Netaji, reflected a more militant and socialist approach to India's independence movement as compared with Mahatma Gandhi's less confrontational stance and more conservative economics. While in exile in the 1940s, Bose raised a liberation army in East Asia with Japanese aid and influence. In October 1943, Subhash Chandra Bose proclaimed the formation of the Arzi Hukumat-e Azad Hind, or the Provisional Government of Free India, also known as the Azad Hind or Free India. The INA was declared to be the Army of Azad Hind or the Azad Hind Fauj. Subhash Chandra Bose reportedly died in a Japanese hospital in Taiwan from burn injuries on August 18, 1945, as a result of a plane crash while fleeing Southeast Asia, days after World War II ended with the surrender of Japan, which had been supporting Bose and his liberation army.
Rani Lakshmibai, or Jhansi Ki Rani, was one of the leading figures of the rebellion of 1857. For Indian nationalists, she became an icon for the freedom struggle against the British Raj. The birth anniversary of Rani Lakshmibai, November 19th, is celebrated as Martyrs' Day in Jhansi to honor the lives lost in the rebellion of 1857. Rani Lakshmibai was born as Manikarnika Tambe in 1828 in Varanasi. She lost her mother at the age of 4 and was raised in an unconventional way by her father, who worked as an advisor in the court of Peshwa. He supported her in learning horsemanship, archery, self-defense, and even shooting. Lakshmibai got married to Gangadhar Rao Nevalkar, the Maharaja of Jhansi, and got the name of Rani Lakshmibai. Few years after marriage, Manikarnika gave birth to a boy, but he couldn't survive and died after 4 months. Then Lakshmibai and Gangadhar Rao adopted Rao's cousin's son, Anand Rao, who was later renamed as Damodar. Soon after they adopted Damodar, Maharaja died due to an illness in 1853. Rani Lakshmibai was just 18 at that time. Due to the doctrine of lapse, Britishers did not accept Damodar Rao as the legal heir. The plan of the Britishers was to annex Jhansi. Rani Lakshmibai was determined not to give up on the dominion of Jhansi and hence started assembling an army of rebellions, including women. After a fierce war, when the British army entered Jhansi, Rani Lakshmibai tied her son Damodar Rao to her back and fought bravely using two swords in both her hands. She died on June 17, 1958, martyring her life for India's freedom.
Bal Gangadhar Tilak was born on 23 July 1856. He was an Indian nationalist, teacher, and an independence activist. He was one-third of the Lal Bal Pal triumvirate. Tilak was the first leader of Indian independence movement. The British colonial authorities called him the father of the Indian unrest. He was also conferred with the title of Lokmanya, which means accepted by the people as their leader. Mahatma Gandhi called him the maker of modern India. Tilak was one of the first and the strongest advocates of Swaraj, self-rule, and a strong radical in Indian consciousness. He is known for his quote in Marathi, "Swarajya is my birthright and I shall have it."
Happy Independence Day. My name is Bhuvi Trivedi and I'm from class 9. I'm going to speak the topic on Mahatma Gandhi. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. He was born on 2 October 1869 and died on 30 January 1948. He was an Indian lawyer, anti-colonial nationalist, and political ethicist who employed non-violent resistance to lead the successful campaign for India's independence from British rule, and in turn inspired movements for civil rights and freedom across the world. Gandhi's statements, letters, and life have attracted much political and scholarly analysis of his principles, practice, and beliefs, including what influenced him. Some writers present him as a paragon of ethical living and pacifism, while others present him as a more complex, contradictory, and involving character influenced by his culture and circumstances. Mahatma Gandhi's famous quotes are, "An eye for an eye only ends up making the world blind. Happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony. Where there is love, there is life. In a gentle way, you can shake the world. If you don't ask, you don't get it. The future depends on what we do in the present. Action express priorities. The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. Hate the sin, love the sinner. Nobody can hurt me without my permission." Mahatma Gandhi led a movement called Quit India Movement. It was also called as August Movement. It was a movement launched at the Bombay session of the All India Congress Committee by Mahatma Gandhi on 8 August 1942 during the World War II, demanding an end to British rule of India. The Birla House site where Gandhi was assassinated is now a memorial called Gandhi Smriti. The place near Yamuna River where he was cremated is the Rajghar Memorial in New Delhi. A black marble platform, it bears the Hey Ram. These are the widely believed to be Gandhi's last word after he was shot, though the veracity of the statement has been disputed. Thank you.